Hello, this is KurossuElemenze, and welcome back to my Dragon Quest IX solo speedrun challenge. It's been a bit since I last updated, I apologize, but I was doing a lot of dry runs since the boss at the end of this particular portion is always a pain for me. I think I've had to replay him a couple times, even on my original playthrough, only because for the level of character that you can fight him as, he hits strong, and, well, I'll save the rest for when I actually fight him so that you can see just how annoying he can be. He has his own video devoted to him, if that gives you any hint. What you see is I'm trying to run from Stornway to the next city so that I can try and speed grind my way to the next couple levels. I actually was trying to avoid this Swooper Trooper, if only because they have an annoying habit to defend and sidestep all attacks against them, so it drags the fight out. But I decided to go ahead and engage that one, not that I had much choice, mind you, just so I could get a bit of XP, because from my dry run experience I found that if I went up here without doing at least a bit of easy killing, it would just slow down my levels, since I found it more common to find multiple enemies. I also dodged the batter freeze there by running them into fences, because as you can see, two enemies up here, and the XP from these enemies is generally greater. I am specifically targeting another enemy that I'll be showing off here in a moment. The Meowgicians aren't all that bad, honestly, in terms of XP per effort. The only problem is they can cast Frizz multiple times, and it does take away a chunk of health each time. At that point, it's a little bit over 10, but less than 20% of my health. Here you go, the brownies. These are my prime target, if only because during my dry run I found that one of them dropped a seed of strength, and I was hoping for similar luck on camera. Unfortunately, as you'll notice as I kill them over and over again, they didn't drop one for me. And here's my first level up. Still pumping points into sword skills until I can get Metal Slash, because that'll be my primary leveling skill later on. But for now, I finish a battle, I heal, I run around, I look for another brownie. If I feel that I'm waiting too long, I go ahead and engage. I just couldn't manage to dodge that Scarecrow that time, the Reaper. But you'll find that I will target the archers here, much like in the very first couple episodes when I was trying to XP off of them. However, I target these archers because they do hit very hard for their level with the bow damage, and they can call for help and focus up, so they can increase their damage and then get attack chains on you for increasing. It's just a nightmare, and it did cause one or two dry run failures for me. Main reason I go after the brownies are they do waste a lot of time psyching up. They will go from 0 to 5 and then attack, or sometimes they will try and push for 50 the slow way. They do have a high chance though of getting a critical psych up, which takes them to 50 automatically, and I think I might have missed that while explaining everything else. The main reason that isn't as much of a threat as all the other enemies in this area is that even with Psych 50 or Psych 100, they tend to use a move called Heartbreaker that with max Psych I think does 9 or 12 damage. So it's negligible and about on par with most of the other monsters' damage in the area. And there you go, that's one of the critical psych ups, and you will find that unfortunately the brownies do not come in multiple groups as often as I'd like, and because of that you have a lot of time wasted going in and out of battle. But all in all, it totals up. I did a standard check. I'd sweep like 2-3 monsters. If I didn't see a brownie, I'd engage just to reset. I could have run into town and out of town, but that uses almost as much time as a battle, at least the first time. And I just wanted to get everything done without running into town. I targeted the Reapers first because they can cast Snooze. The Bop and Badger can actually do a dance that drains my MP, which did hurt a bit every once in a while since that's my primary method of healing. And when they aggro on the map, they have a straight line charge, so they're easy to dodge. The Reapers will home in on you, so the only way to really stop them is to get them stuck on the fence like the Better Free that I dodged before. There is a good chance, though, with the Brownie, although not as good of a chance as using Heartbreaker. They will use a standard attack, and I think they do in one time in this video, where they do a Cycle 100 normal attack, and it takes out about 1/3 of my life. So if you're gambling, go for it. I found that you typically won in that gamble. Here's a super high tension regular attack, 22 damage. That's what I was just remembering. Unfortunately, I fought so many of them that they kind of all blended together. I do not follow my minstrel levels with an experience chart, so I honestly can't tell you how close I was to level after each fight, but I did level fairly quickly here compared to leveling around Stornway. Granted, the boss fight is actually closer to Stornway. You do have to come to this place later, though, so that you can progress the story. So I was trying to take care of a few things all at once, and once I go to town you'll see why. This is the other annoying side effect of fighting the brownies. Sometimes their younger siblings, the Hammerhoods, show up. Not as good XP, loot isn't as good, but they can be one shot, so it's almost free XP, as minimal as it is. I think now I just hit level 10. Yeah, you get Evac at level 10. Evac is the spell that I'll be abusing much later. It lets you escape dungeons without actually using the item. I believe it's the bell, but I'm not sure. Again, I target the Meowgician first because the Meowgician casts a spell that does 10 damage. At this point, it's about 1/7 of my health. So I go ahead and my goal is to hit level 11 before I go into town, because during my dry runs I did find that that is acceptable to go fight the next boss. And here you find a sense of gamer karma. I was given a free attack against the enemy, and the first strike they get back against me takes away my turn, so I was up a turn, then I was down a turn. Like I said, gamer karma. It happens. But it all balances out. I take the same amount of damage I normally would, and now that the battles are going quicker, I'm taking less damage in the actual course of a normal fight. I haven't really talked about the gastropods that much. They are a high armor, medium health creature, so most of my attacks do little damage, but they still take 2 hits to kill. What you saw was it trying to lick my face and paralyze me. It's frustrating, but it's why I don't focus on them early on. And it seems that in this run that Heartbreaker managed to put me into an inactive state much more often than when I would normally play. So I kind of had to deal with that. And there you saw me catch the Ragged Reaper on the fence. And since I didn't see a brownie, straight into the cat I went. Normally I would have tacked the Magidraki first, but by level 10 I was sometimes able to one-shot the Meowgicians, so I gambled and lost there. Oh, these are Drac Mages, I'm sorry. Magidrakis must come later. But, as you can see, 2 hits to both of them, they're dead. Not quite as efficient as I'd like, and I did notice that the brownies do like to spawn a bit more frequently to the top, to the northwest, northeast of Zier. Rarely did I find them down in the southern part, so your mileage may vary, but you can try leveling towards the Poison Swamp a bit to the northwest of Zier. But then you have to worry about overextending yourself when you need to run and heal. Granted, you should have some healing herbs by now. The medicinal herbs heal about as well as a cure spell. The only problem is that unlike the heal, they do not have any variability based on your stats, so they are constantly limited to being I believe, maximum of 30. And now that I'm out of mana, I was just kind of gambling that I'd hit level 11 first. And I just finished my sword skill. And Flash, I didn't mention it before, but I've got the second and third sword accolades during this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It was very quick, and I didn't stay focused on it. And like every other town you're going to find, you walk in and you get this cutscene of you walking in for the first time. The inn is thankfully very close to the entrance of town, and you'll see me visiting it again next video. But since I'm single player, it only cost me 4 gold. It's 4 gold per character, and at this point I could have had up to 4 characters. I'm actually going to do a bit of running here. First thing I do is stop at the town shop and pick up some of the armor. I also pick up some herbs because in my dry run for the next boss, I found I actually ran out of all healing implements by the time that I killed him. I'll talk more about the boss when I get to him in the next video. But the other things that I buy are the bronze shield, a leather hat, and since I have a female character, a pair of blue knickers. These are all defense upgrades from what I had, so I found that during my dry runs that was actually hindering me, that I had gone ahead and not bought these defensive upgrades. I was trying to use levels, and I found that the time spent buying them is much shorter than it would take to get the levels to equal the defense bump that I got. And that is quite a bit to say. Here I saved just because if I did bomb on the boss, which even as prepared as I was, it was still a distinct possibility. I wanted to not have to grind again and show that to you. That was actually a recommendation of Kostaki, what I just did there. It makes sense to use warp spells and chimera wings so that you can get to the entrance of town rather than walk to it. There is actually an instance coming up where you can't do such a thing, but I'm going to go ahead and cut this video off here now that I'm running in to fight the boss. See you next time.